Hello everybody, my name is Ben Bowman. This is a spec script I wrote for Fear the Walking Dead. It takes place after the first season. It's called Any Cost. Act 1. Exterior, Strand's house, day. Daniel and Travis stand at an outdoor table overlooking the beach and the ocean below. Daniel inserts a clip into a gun and pulls the slide back to load the round. Pull this back and you're ready to fire. Daniel hands the gun to Travis, who looks worried. It's just a tool. You don't have to worry. I don't like guns. I don't like what's happening out there. That's why we need these. Travis looks down to see Nick, Alicia, Ophelia, and Chris walking along the beach. Daniel notices Travis's gaze. Daniel gently pulls the gun from Travis's hands, unloads it, and places it on the table. Do you remember the day you became a father? Yes. Travis draws his mouth back in a tight smile amid his fear. Liza was so brave. I panicked. But she was always such a nurse. She calmly told me everything that was happening to her body while I just worried. Do you want ice chips? Can I rub your back? Remember to breathe. I was useless, powerless. I couldn't bear to see her in pain, to see the woman you love lying there in agony while you can't do anything. I think it was harder on me than it was on her. And then when Chris came out, I felt like I had the wind knocked out of me. He was so helpless, and so was I. But I knew I couldn't be. I had to take care of him and Liza. Can't take care of them forever, though. At some point, either they leave or you do. I left both of them. Your son never forgives you for leaving. Daniel lets the story wash over him. My wife wasn't calm at all with Ophelia. She came early, 6.5 months. As I drove Griselda to the hospital, she was crying and praying. I expected the worst, and I believed I was driving my wife to the hospital to deliver a lifeless body. You know, the sins of the father are visited upon the children. I thought this was my punishment. The doctors pulled her out and put her in the incubator. We spent weeks crying, every moment waiting for her to die, our little girl born too soon. Taking her home seemed like it wasn't real, like she could be taken away again at any moment. So I swore I would never let that happen as long as I breathe. I will protect her with everything I have. I will defend my little girl no matter what comes. Didn't know all this was going to come, though. You never know what's going to come when you make a promise. The true test of a man is whether you break your word when the odds are against you. Travis looks at the kids on the beach for a long moment. He picks up the gun and looks at Daniel. Show me again. End of Act 1. Act 2, Interior, Strand's house, day. Strand, Travis, and Madison stand in the kitchen. How much longer can we hold out here? To be honest, I didn't expect to host a refugee camp. We can get supplies. Tell us what you need and we'll go get it. Food and water are the top priorities. We can raid a grocery store. That's not all. We have no idea how long this is all going to last. How long can it last? Indefinitely by the looks of it. We have to assume we've seen the last of civilization for a while. If the power comes back on and communication is restored, we might be able to get an upper hand. If not, we know we can't count on the military. This is a desert island scenario. We have to assume we'll be the last survivors. That means we need supplies, weapons, and knowledge. Knowledge of what exactly? Books, reference material, medical information, maps. If we have to head out of here, it would be nice to know what kind of terrain we'll face. LA is a lost cause, maybe all of California. Hopefully this thing can be contained and we can leave it behind. So we'll hit a grocery store and a bookstore. I've got a better idea. Exterior, Strand's house, pool, day. Nick, Alicia, and Chris are floating in the pool, soaking up the sun. Madison and Travis stand nearby. Why do you want to go to a school? Because they have all the supplies we'll need. Food, water, medicine in the nurse's office. The on-campus police officer should have a gun in his office, and we can pick up some books from the library. The library? Yeah, it's that thing that was the internet before the internet. You'll have to forgive him. He avoided the library at all costs. Hey, Dad, why don't you jump in? Join us all for a game of Marco Polo. Travis shoots Chris a look. I'll be inside. What's his problem? He can't swim. Madison glares at Chris. Interior Strand's house moments later. Travis loads the gun in front of Daniel. Good, you're ready. Madison enters. You ready to go? Change of plans, you're staying here. Why? I'm taking Chris. You don't know what's out there. I know exactly what's out there. If Chris is going to survive, he's going to have to learn how, and he's not going to do that lounging in a pool. Why don't we all go? I don't want to have to look after Alicia and Nick. I'll do that. We don't have time to babysit and make a supply run at the same time. But I don't want you going alone, Travis snaps. Can you just give me this, Madison? I want my son to stand up for himself. He's moping around like this is summer vacation. It's my fault he's this soft. It's time he grew up. Madison backs down. She's never seen him this agitated. Daniel breaks the tension. Ophelia and I will go to the bus garage to get gas and tools. The last thing we want is one of our cars breaking down at the wrong time. Good idea. Let's go. Exterior, city street, day. A truck carrying Ophelia and Daniel roars down the road ahead of an SUV carrying Travis and Chris. Interior, truck, the same time. Ophelia talks to Daniel. I should have been there with her. We had no way of knowing. We weren't there when she died. She knew you loved her. But she was alone. She died in that army base, probably wondering where we were. I wouldn't want you to be there when I go. Ophelia is stunned. You've already seen too much death for a lifetime. Better you remember me alive. When the time comes, I hope you'll be strong enough to turn your back. A tear rolls down Ophelia's cheek. She tries to hide it from Daniel. He sees. I love you, mija. Interior SUV, the same time. Travis and Chris ride in silence. When it's clear neither will speak, Chris turns on the radio to hear static. He presses the seek button. The radio squawks to life. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. If this had been an actual emergency, Travis turns the radio off. Chris looks out the window. They drive on, passing a walker feeding on what's left of a hitchhiker next to a hand-scrawled sign that says, San Francisco or bust, with a happy face. Exterior Strand's house, pool, day. Madison stands by the pool talking to Nick and Alicia still floating around. Are you guys going to pitch in? And do what? Whatever we need to do to survive. Maybe you should treat us like adults. I'd like to. Are you going to start acting like adults? We know, Mom. We'll do whatever we have to do. We'll be ready. Good. We've already lost too many people. I don't want to lose you. Alicia notices something. Do you smell that? Madison sniffs and turns to look at the sky nearby. Smoke. You guys stay here. Madison starts running in the direction of the smoke plume just a few houses over. Mom, don't go alone! Madison continues running and shouts back over her shoulder. Stay here! Exterior, city street, moments later. Madison runs, following a plume of smoke to its source, a few houses down. Exterior, burning house, moments later. The smoke is coming out of a 2-story tan house. Madison scans the area and sees no walkers. She starts walking around the house and sees a bedroom window. She hears a toddler crying. She looks up to see a baby girl standing in her crib screaming. Smoke pours out of the roof. Madison runs back through the front door, but it's locked. She throws a rock through the front window. As soon as the rock crashes through, a burglar alarm sounds. Exterior, city street, immediately. As the smoke from the burning house rises in the distance, we hear the burglar alarm echoing in the distance. Walkers, who were previously feasting on a fresh kill, raise their heads. They hear it, and they start staggering toward the noise. End of Act 2. Act 3. Exterior, bus garage, day. Daniel and Ophelia pull up and step out of the truck. He hands her a gun. Remember when we would go shooting? I was 10. Same thing, just instead of tin cans, it's the infected. Not really the same thing, Dad. Aim for the head and they'll go down. But let's hope we don't run into any. Daniel and Ophelia walk past the gas pump sitting outside. They approach the window and look inside. Interior bus garage, the same time. A body wearing overalls sits in a chair, his back to the window. It's dark inside. The only light comes in through the window. Exterior bus garage, the same time. Daniel and Ophelia look at each other. No way of knowing if he's infected or just dead. Ophelia thinks for a moment and taps on the window with her gun. The body doesn't move. She shrugs. The two walk around to the door and turn the handle. It opens. Interior bus garage, the same time. The smell of death hits Daniel and Ophelia in the face. That body has been in there for days, and the California sun has turned the garage into an oven. They enter, leaving the door open behind them for more light and to air out the place. Look for gas cans. I'll grab the tools. Ophelia scans the ground, quickly finding the cans. She grabs them. Got 'em. Fill them up outside, then put them in the back of the truck. Get as many as you can find, and open the garage door. It's too dark in here. Ophelia carries 2 cans toward the door. She sets them down and pulls a chain to open the garage door. As it rolls up, she finds herself face to face with a walker wearing overalls. The overalls have a name embroidered on the patch. Earl. She screams. Dad! Daniel spins around to see the walker grabbing Ophelia by the shoulders. Get out of the way! Ophelia twists out of the walker's grasp and falls to the ground. Daniel takes aim with his gun and fires a shot right between the walker's eyes. It crumples in a heap. Ophelia looks back at her father, who lowers his gun and collects himself. Tin cans, mija. Tin cans. Exterior Harrison High School day. Travis and Chris pull up in the SUV. The sign in the front of the school reads, Happy Homecoming, go Broncos. A burned-out bus lies on its side in front of the building. They step out of the SUV. So do I get a gun? No. You know those things could be lurking anywhere, right? The whole school could be packed with them. If that's the case, I'd rather have you running, not shooting. This isn't a video game. Chris walks toward the door, muttering under his breath. Nice lecture. Chris tries the door. It's locked. Well, I guess we can go home now. You giving up that easily? Travis starts walking around the school, turning a corner. Chris follows. A second door won't open. A third one is propped open by a severed leg. The 2 men gingerly approach, then enter. Interior Harrison High School hallway moments later. Chris and Travis walk through the school. The place is a mess. Papers everywhere, blood smeared on some of the lockers, books all over the ground. On the walls are large framed photos containing all the seniors' class pictures. Travis walks until he sees 1986 and scans the frame. What are you doing? Seeing if I know anybody? I think we played Harrison in basketball one year. No luck. All right, let's go. Chris pauses to look at the 1986 pictures. Did all of you know your hair looked like that? We did, and we liked it. Interior, Harrison High School library, moments later. The 2 men pull open the door to the library. Travis pokes his head in and scans the area. Looks clear. He walks in and Chris follows. Okay, we need maps and reference books, anything that might help us survive if we have to be on our own for... Travis tries to think of the right word. A while. Chris nods. He knows they're going to be alone forever. How do we find the right books if the computers are down? We need to find the... He spots it. Here we go. Travis approaches the card catalog. What is that? This is a card catalog. How do you use it? I don't remember. Travis pulls open the first drawer and starts flipping through. He looks at the cards and realizes it's all nonsense. You know what? You head to nonfiction. I'll hit up reference. Chris sees the nonfiction sign and starts walking that way. From behind one of the shelves, a middle-aged teacher steps out and cocks a gun, pointing it at Chris. He's in his 50s, slightly balding and paunchy. He wears glasses. His arm shakes nervously, waving the gun. Are you one of them? Are you one of them? Chris is frozen. Interior burning house, day. Madison crawls through the broken window as the siren continues to blare. There's not much smoke on the ground level. She runs upstairs toward the sound of the crying toddler. As she gets to the top of the stairs, smoke pours into her lungs. Madison coughs. She can't see. One door is engulfed in flames. She drops to her hands and knees to crawl. Madison gets to the door where the crying is the loudest. She flings the door open and races to the toddler. Madison scoops her up out of the crib and gets back down on the ground to crawl out. As she starts toward the hall, a pair of burning legs step in front of her. It's a walker on fire. Madison coughs as the smoke continues choking her. She whips around, searching for a weapon. She sees stuffed animals, diapers, books, a changing table, nothing useful. The burning legs step closer to the screaming toddler, now wailing on the floor. Madison scampers over to the crib. It's on wheels. She gets behind it, stands up, and uses it as a battering ram to plow into the walker, pinning it momentarily against the wall. As the walker hits the wall, it bends forward, flailing its fiery arms toward Madison at the other end of the crib. The crib catches fire. Madison grabs the toddler and races down the stairs. The fire walker tries to follow, then tumbles down the stairs in a heap. Madison unlocks the front door and steps out. Exterior burning house immediately. Madison emerges to see dozens of walkers attracted by the burglar alarm slowly shambling toward her and the screaming toddler. End of Act 3. Act 4. Exterior burning house, day. Dozens of walkers are closing in on Madison and the screaming toddler. Madison looks back at the house. Can't escape through the fire. She looks back to the walkers drawing near. There's nowhere to run. She closes her eyes and hugs the little girl. Suddenly, an SUV plows through some of the walkers and drives up right next to the front door. Nick is behind the wheel. His window is down. Get in! Madison grabs the side door of the SUV. It won't open. It's locked! Hold on! Nick mashes the buttons on the armrest of the SUV. It unlocks. Madison flings the door open and jumps in with the toddler. Drive! Interior SUV immediately. Nick hits the gas, plowing through a few more walkers while making his way back to Strand's house at the end of the block. Where are you going? Back home. With all of them following us? Nick looks in his side view mirror to see the walkers slowly shuffling in a chase. We've got to draw them away. Go back. Go back? Go back. Plow through them if you have to. We'll start heading the other way slowly enough that they can follow. We don't want them coming home with us. When we get far enough away, we'll double back another way. Are you okay? I'm fine. Where's Alicia? Nick hesitates to answer. Where's Alicia? Exterior Strand's house, pool, the same time. Alicia floats by in a pool chair. She yawns. Interior Harrison High School library, day. The jittery teacher has his gun trained on Chris. Chris tries to diffuse the tension. What's your name? They're coming. They're coming. Why don't you give me the gun? Chris starts to move toward the teacher, who fires a warning shot at the ceiling. Chris freezes again. When they find you, they make you one of them. You scream, and you go quiet, and then a death rattle that never ends. You will become one. You won't stop. You won't stop. Travis comes running from behind and tackles the teacher. The gun goes off harmlessly. Travis punches the teacher and disarms him. You okay? Yeah, you? Yeah, you aimed a gun at my son. The teacher mutters to himself. They don't stop. They don't stop. Travis slaps him. Answer me, why did you do that? The teacher keeps shaking as tears roll down his face. I'll keep an eye on him. Grab the books, encyclopedias, anatomy, chemistry. See if you can find an atlas, anything on first aid or camping. Chris nods and heads off in search of the right books. Travis wipes sweat from his forehead and relaxes a bit. He keeps the gun aimed at the teacher. The teacher is slumped on the ground, staring ahead at nothing. What's your name? Name. Your name. Do you work here? I'm Mr. Arnold. The teacher seems unsure. I'm Mr. Manawa. You can call me Travis if you want. James Arnold. James. What's your story, James? Do you have water? No, not right now. Travis looks around. James, what happened here? Everyone got sick. Stopped showing up to school. One by one. We tried not to let the kids know, but they knew. They could see. We had an assembly in the auditorium to talk about it, and one of the kids changed. Quiet kid, bad skin. Sat alone at lunch. His family didn't have any money, so... At the assembly, he was sitting behind everyone. No one noticed until he stood up and lunged. There was this blonde girl. Her blonde hair was soaked red. Her beautiful hair. Kids ran and fell. They got trampled and hurt. One by one they were attacked and they changed. It happened so fast. Some of the teachers jumped off the stage to help, but they were just swallowed up. One mouth became 2, became 16, became all of them. I ran out the back and chained the doors together. If any of them got out, some of them begged me by name. It's the last time I heard my name aloud. Mr. Arnold. Mr. Arnold, please, Mr. Arnold, please, I don't want to die. They pounded on the windows. A girl on the swim team, the saxophone player. I saw my favorite student standing out there screaming, but no noise came out. All this murder around them. Children becoming animals. Teachers gnashing their teeth. And he just stood there with his silent scream. I wish the crowd got to him sooner. Maybe if it was It was 5 minutes before he fell, but those 5 minutes watching him have been playing over and over in my mind, slower and slower. I dream about it. I can see it now, and all I want is for him to make noise, for that open mouth, crying out at a frequency no one can hear." The teacher pauses and slowly turns his eyes toward Travis. "No one hears us now." End of Act 4. Act 5. Interior Strand's house, day. Nick flings open the front door. Madison rushes in with a toddler wrapped in a blanket. Strand is sipping a martini at the bar. "And what's this?" "We need food and clean towels." Nick runs to another room to find towels. "I'm sorry, did I give the impression I wanted more people in my home?" The toddler fusses a little. "Small people?" "Her house was on fire. She was going to die." "Perhaps the gravity of this situation has not settled in for you. You do realize we're in a survival situation, right?" "I know that." "This child is a liability. Toting around a toddler in what might be the end of days is like running around outside while blaring an air horn. Babies attract attention. Attention gets you killed." "So what, we just throw her outside, let them have her?" Nick returns with towels. Madison starts to use one as a diaper. "Paper towel, Nick. Wet some." Nick moves to the kitchen to comply. "When they cure this thing, Mr. Strand, we are going to have to live with the choices we make right now. We can do what's right or we can do what's expedient. I just ran through a burning building, put my life on the line, not because it was easy, but because living with the alternative would be worse than death. I've seen neighbors die. I've seen friends die. I've seen it, and I see it when I close my eyes." Nick returns with the paper towels. Madison begins to change the toddler's diaper. "I think I'm done living a nightmare. If I can help it, I'm going to do something, even if it's hard. This little girl deserves a chance to live." Madison looks at Strand. "We all do." Nick reaches into his pocket. "Here are your keys." Nick drops them on the counter and walks out. Strand glares at the baby. Exterior bus garage, day. Daniel and Ophelia are loading up the truck bed with supplies. "I wish there were some way to bring back more gas." "If we can find a tanker along the road or something." "Do you think this will end someday?" "Yes." "I don't." "All things end, Mija." "I don't think this will. Not until all of us are gone." "God won't let that happen." "That's what Mom would say, not you." "I won't let that happen." Ophelia smiles a little. "And what if God and you disagree on what happens?" "Then we settle our disagreement and one of us comes out on top." "My money's on God." Daniel smiles. "Well, right now, God is probably getting an earful from your mother, and no one will be able to help him if he allows something to happen to her one and only daughter. You know, Jesus was an only child. His father was less protective than I am. Tell me about it. I would walk through hell to keep you safe, Mija." "You're in the right place. Let's get walking." Daniel smiles and jumps in the truck. Interior Harrison High School hallway, day. Travis, Chris, and the teacher walk with a rolling cart. It's packed with books. "What about batteries, flashlights, first aid kits?" "This way." Interior Harrison High School nurse's office. Moments later, Travis and Chris load up backpacks with medicine. Exterior Harrison High School. Moments later, Travis and Chris load supplies in the SUV. The teacher stands in the doorway, scanning the area for walkers. Interior Harrison High School hallway. Moments later, Travis, Chris, and the teacher are walking again. "I've already eaten a lot of the cafeteria stash." "We'll take what's left." The teacher seems upset. "You can come with us." Travis looks uncertainly at Chris. He'll go along with this, for now. "You can't stay here." "How do I know you won't just leave me?" "You have our word." Interior Harrison High School cafeteria. Moments later, Travis, Chris, and the teacher load up cans of food on the rolling cart. Exterior Harrison High School. Moments later, again the teacher is in the doorway scanning for walkers. Travis and Chris continue filling the SUV, this time with food. Travis sets a big pile of cans on one of the back seats. "Dad, leave room for Mr. Arnold." "Right." Travis shoves the cans on the floor. The SUV is getting pretty full. Travis and Chris approach the teacher. "Anything else you can think to grab?" "Well, there's a lot of food in the gym. We sell concessions during basketball games. Tons of preservatives and that stuff, so it'll never go bad." Lead the way. Exterior Strand's house, pool, day. Alicia is still floating there wearing sunglasses. Madison exits the house holding the toddler. "Alicia, I need you to watch her." "Babysitting? Really?" "Alicia, she's asleep. Just keep an eye on her while I clean this smoke and soot off." Do I need to do anything? No. Just keep floating there and make sure she doesn't go anywhere. Aye, aye, Captain. Madison exhales and places the baby in a chair. Madison re-enters the house. Alicia uses her foot to push off the side of the pool and drift in her pool chair. Interior Harrison High School gym. Moments later, the teacher, Travis, and Chris enter. It's dark except for light coming through the small windows near the top. Sun is starting to go down. 2 large sets of collapsible bleachers flank the basketball court. There's a rack of basketballs on the baseline. Let's make this quick. The concession stand is this way. The teacher runs up some stairs. Hey, Dad. Travis turns his head to see a basketball whipping toward him. He catches it. Chris? What? You were always telling me how great you were in high school. Let's see if you still got it. Now's not the time. Dad? When are we going to get a chance to shoot hoops again? Travis thinks and smiles a little. Horse? Age before beauty. Travis drills out to the 3-point line and tosses up a shot. It falls short. Were you a starter or starting forward? Chris grabs the ball and throws one up from the free throw line. It rattles in. Make it easy to start. Travis walks out to the free throw line and tosses one up. It rims out. H. Yeah, I know. Why didn't you ever go out for sports? Mom wouldn't let me until I got my grades up. Sounds like her. Besides, would have cut into my busy social schedule. Chris throws up a layup and misses. Travis takes the ball back to the same spot on the 3-point line. You already missed from there. You know how you get better at something? Travis jacks up a shot. It banks in. Practice. Lucky shot. Get over here or take an H. Chris is frozen. Dad? Travis turns around to see 7 walkers in basketball uniforms staggering toward them. End of Act 5. Act 6. Interior Harrison High School gym. Dusk. The basketball walkers start moving toward Chris and Travis. Chris whips the ball at one. It glances off the walker's shoulder without slowing him down. Chris, run! Chris starts to run for the exit, but he can't get past the approaching walkers. He runs under the bleachers. Travis fires his gun until it's empty. It's not a great shot, but 2 walkers are down. As Chris makes his way under the bleachers, a walker approaches and starts coming toward him, blocking his escape. Chris turns back the other way he came. Walkers are following from that side too. He's trapped on all 4 sides. Walkers, the wall, and the bleachers. Dad? Chris, where are you? Under the bleachers. They're coming in from both sides. Hold on. Travis shoves a walker and gets to the bleachers. The teacher looks down from the upper level. The bleachers collapse in sections. Push them toward the wall. Chris, stay in the middle. They're coming, Dad. Stay in the middle, whatever you do. The walkers are just steps away from Chris on either side. He closes his eyes. Travis shoves one side of the bleachers, splattering the walkers from that side. Travis pulls that section back out. The path is clear. Run, Chris! Chris scampers over the splattered bodies and comes out the other side. The remaining walkers follow through. The exits appear blocked with walkers. How do we get out of here? The teacher points to the other end of the gym. Through the locker room. I'll meet you down there. Travis and Chris make a break for the locker room. Interior Harrison High School locker room. Moments later, Chris and Travis catch their breath. They hear a knock at the door. Guys? Travis opens the door a crack and lets the teacher in. Where to now? The other end goes to the pool area. There's an exit there and we can get back to the parking lot. A loud crash echoes through the locker room. The 3 men look at each other and start to move. This way! As the men near the entrance to the pool, student walkers block their exit. Follow me. Travis starts to go back the way they came, then past an open locker. He stops. James, come here. The teacher walks over to Travis. I'm sorry. Travis shoves the teacher in the locker and slams it shut. Dad! Come on, Chris. Oh my God! Oh my God, let me out! Oh my God, let me out! Let's go. The walkers draw near. Let me out! Oh God, no, please don't do this, no! We gotta let him out! We can't. He'll be safe inside until we can get him out later. Help! Help! Travis grabs Chris's arm and they run out the door toward the pool. The student walkers are drawn toward the teacher's screams. They claw at the locker as he bangs against the door and wails. Interior Harrison High School pool. Moments later, Travis is still pulling Chris by the arm. Why would you do that? He was helping us. He still is. He's distracting them. You're a monster. Chris, either he had to go or we'd all go. Do you understand? He's still alive back there. We'll try to get him later. Right now, we need to get out of here. He'll starve in there. Chris, what do you want from me? Want me to walk back in there and fight those things and figure out the combination? I had to think fast. You're my only priority. We're alive and that's all that matters. Now let's go. Travis turns around as a walker grabs him from behind. He tries shoving it off, but they both fall in the pool. The walker sinks. Travis flails around. He can't swim. Chris! Dad! Help! Travis goes under. Chris starts to reach for a life ring, but pauses. The walker waits at the bottom, flailing its arms and snapping its jaw in a ghastly slow motion. Travis flails underwater. Chris watches for an uncomfortable amount of time. Maybe his dad deserves to die. Chris makes eye contact and sees the panic in Travis's face. He dives in and grabs his father, pulling him up away from the walker's waiting mouth. They break the surface, and Travis gasps. Thank you. Thank you. Chris swims to the side of the pool. He doesn't say anything. Thank you, Chris. I love you. I love you. Chris looks toward the locker room. The teacher's screaming has stopped. Interior Strand's house, night. Ophelia and Daniel sit around with Madison and Nick. We've got enough tools to operate a NASCAR pit stop, but only enough gas for a few laps. We'll have to ration. Good work. You didn't see Travis and Chris? Not since they split off to go to the school. Madison looks worried. Alicia enters. I'm sure they're fine. I showed Travis how to use a gun before they went. Travis with a gun? We should be worried. Never underestimate what a parent will do to protect his child. Madison looks at Alicia. Alicia? What? Where's the baby? Outside? Where? Where you left her? Madison runs outside. Exterior Strand's house, pool, night. Madison looks into the pool. Her face pulls back in anguish. She starts to cry, and then her eyes tighten with rage. Nick comes out. Madison storms back inside. Nick looks in the pool, grimaces, then races after Madison. Interior Strand's house immediately. Ophelia and Daniel stand by. Nick trails as Madison cruises straight toward Alicia and slaps her face. Mom! What the hell? She's dead, Alicia. The room is thick with tension. Strand enters and views this from a distance. You left a toddler alone near a swimming pool, and she's dead. She was asleep when I got out. I ran into a burning building to save that girl, and she was safer there than in your care. Mom, you let her die. You let that little girl die. I'm sorry. What kind of daughter are you? Ophelia moves to pull Madison away. You killed her, Alicia. Strand sits down, observing from a distance. That little girl is gone because of you. I'm sorry. Ophelia leads Madison out of the room. Madison flips a table on her way out. Alicia runs out the front door. Alicia, wait! Let her go. It's not safe out there. I don't think it's safe for her in here right now. She won't go far. God, what a mess. Travis and Chris enter. Well, mission accomplished. Chris keeps walking through the room to go into a bedroom. What's wrong with him? Long story. What's going on here? We saw Alicia running out the front door. Madison saved a little girl from a burning building. She drowned in the pool. Alicia was supposed to be watching her. So, did she turn? Strand looks at Travis. What do you mean? Did she turn when she died? Strand looks away. No, she was just floating there. How can that be? Liza said we're all infected. We all turn when we die. I had a run-in with one of those things and it kept trying to get at me, even at the bottom of the pool. Strand stands and leaves the room. Maybe it doesn't work that way for children. Who knows? Poor thing. We couldn't save her, but at the end of the day, you protected your family. Interior Strand's house, bedroom, the same time. Chris lies on the bed, staring at the ceiling. It's dark, except for moonlight on his face. And that's all that matters. What good is it to save the world if you can't save your family? Interior Strand's house, another room, the same time. Madison sits on the edge of her bed, her eyes hot with tears. She's not sobbing, but angry. Some men work their whole lives to provide for families they never know, because they're too busy working. Exterior Strand's house, the same time. Alicia sits in the fetal position behind a bush. A real man knows everything comes at a cost. Exterior Strand's house, pool, the same time. Strand looks down toward where the toddler must be floating. And true men are willing to pay any cost to get what they want. Strand sips his drink. Any cost. End of Act 6. That's the end of my spec script for Fear the Walking Dead. My name is Ben Bowman. I'm the author. You can follow me on Twitter at Bowman Inc. BOWMANINC.